So I get the phone call. My son calls me up. He goes, Dad, I just made a mistake. I just drilled a hole right through the center of someone's hardwood floor trying to install an EV charger. He's like, I can't believe I did it. I had one guy was up in the attic and he had a snake and he was pushing it down and I heard it tapping. I went down to the basement and I could feel where it was tapping and I drilled up and I drilled right through the person's center of their hardwood floor. I'm so sorry, Dad, and I'm sorry. I had to discount the customer. I said, Chris, I couldn't be more proud of you. He's like, what? I said, listen, those mistakes you have to make. I said, all of us in the trades, as an electrical contractor, we all make those mistakes. We all cut holes under a joist or by a rafter, right? Or a stud, and it screws us up. We drill holes in the wrong spot. Sometimes we drill and we break an HVAC line or whatever, but that's going to happen. And it's good that it happened because it won't happen again. Now he'll know to do the checks. So I said to him, okay, Chris, what would you do again if you came into the same scenario? What would you do different? And he said, Dad, I would use a feeler bit and I would drill a smaller hole. I said, exactly, Chris. So it's perfect what you did. It's not great to make a mistake, but it's good that you make the mistake. No one got hurt. The customer got a discount and you'll never do it again. So when you guys are out there and you make mistakes, you just got to own up to them. Don't hide it. You know, don't try to cover it up. And I always remember a time when, this is a long time ago, and I was putting a ceiling fan up in this high-end condominium with a really high ceiling. The ceiling had to have been 18 feet high. So I'm up on a ladder and I'm putting up this ceiling fan. And down below me was this grand piano. You know where I'm gonna go, right? Beautiful black lacquered grand piano. So I'm up, I'm putting the ceiling fan up, and I couldn't move the piano out of my way. So I'm kind of straddling over top of the piano. And you guys know when you put a ceiling fan up, right? You've got the housing, and then you start putting the blades on one at a time. Well, I'm so kind of cautious putting the blades up because I didn't want to drop them. What did I do? I drop it. I fumble the blade in my hand and I try to catch it. And when I tried to catch the blade, I actually hit it with my hand and propelled it even further and faster down, and boom, it's right on top of this beautiful grand piano. Oh my gosh, so I go down, I pick it up, and I see this big dent in the grand piano. And she had these little doilies and like stuff on top of the, you know, doilies, like a little piece of fabric, right, that they put little trinkets on top of so they don't mar the surface. So I slid it over so it would cover up so I could at least finish the job. Because I didn't want to like inform the customer right away, because I was like, oh man. And now I'm thinking I've worked for free. I'm putting up like 6 or 7 fans here. You know, there's no way I'm gonna get away with this, right? So I could remember finishing up the job, and I couldn't live with myself and hiding it, right? I could have easily left the little doily over it, but she would have found out, right? She would have seen that mark. So at the very end, I went to the older lady, and I said to her as I gave her the bill, I said, listen, I've got the bill, but I said, I have to tell you something. And I showed her, I walk over to her piano, I move the doily out of the way, I said, I'm so sorry. And you'll never believe what she said to me. She said to me, oh, don't worry about it. That's fine. I have someone who could fix that. They'll fill that in and fix it. Don't you worry. You did a fantastic job. Here's all your money and a tip. Let me tell you, after that day, it changed my life. I do the same thing now to people. When someone makes a mistake, I'm always forgiving. I will never forget that lady who could have easily took a couple grand from me, dropping this ceiling fan blade on top of her piano. So, and the same thing with my son, with this incident that just happened, drilling through the hardwood floor. Look, we gave him like half off, and the customer accepted the half off because, you know, he's a young person. and you know, it needs to get fixed. It's an easy fix, but you know, you have to tell people. So if you drill through something, if you make a damage, you know, you fess up to your mistakes, okay? And I noticed that any time that I would go up to a customer and tell them what I did, like there was a time I was working at, I don't want to say the name, I was working at a major company, you all know who it is, and it had a huge freezing warehouse. I'm in Miami, that's an airplane going by. And there was a ground fault main breaker. I believe it was 4,000 amps. 4,000 amp service, and it was all refrigeration and freezers for a commercial customer. And one wire nut on a 240 volt line, the wire nut came off and it shorted out inside the box. And it smoldered there and boom, popped the main GFCI breaker of the facility. Why did that happen? Because the original installers didn't know what they were doing. They didn't have it series rated properly. No way should that have happened. The downstream sub panel should have tripped before the main, but it didn't. And the main tripped because it had a GFI breaker on it, and that tripped off. So what did I do? And it was a new customer from mine. I had to go find, and I fixed it. I stayed calm. The whole place went dark. People are screaming, running around. What's going on? What's going on? I stayed calm. I found out where the main breaker was. Found out where, and I saw it, made sure what was going on. I saw that the main had tripped. I had turned off some other sub mains, turned the main back on, and turned the sub mains back on. And then I went into the office and told them, I said, listen, you know, good and bad. I said, good is I was here when it happened, okay? The bad is it wasn't done properly from the beginning. And they understood that, and they respected that. Instead of me just going, oh, I don't know what happened. So this message is about honing your craft and not being embarrassed or ashamed when you make a mistake. You're not perfect. You're not, right? How else are you going to learn? There's a train going by. I'll tell you, Miami's unbelievable. It's the Miami River right here. It's fantastic. It's Saturday. So, again, guys, sorry for this video. I just wanted to explain to you that mistakes can be a blessing. And rarely do you make the same mistakes over and over, because you learn. And then you'll be able to teach your son or daughter and share this video with them. So keep it up. Keep up the good work. Learn your trade and get ready to become extremely wealthy. I'll see you on the next one, guys.